You know that feeling when a conversation just clicks? When you go from awkward small talk to laughing like old friends? Well, what if I told you that this isn't just luck, it's a skill you can learn? Welcome to Wise Words, where we take the most powerful book ideas and make them actionable for you. If you learned something valuable today, please like this video and subscribe. It helps us reach more people just like you. But before we dive into the tactics, let's start with a simple question. Why do we hate small talk so much? So, chapter 1. Small talk. So imagine this. You're at a party, stuck in another, so, what do? Conversation. The small talk feels forced. The connection, non-existent. But what if you knew how to turn that awkward moment into an unforgettable conversation? Well, that's what we're breaking down today. So why small talk matters, even if you hate it. Well, most of us don't love small talk. It feels surface level, even pointless. But here's the truth. Small talk is the bridge to deeper conversations. Studies show people who engage in meaningful conversations are happier. But before we get to deep, we have to start somewhere. So how do we move past the awkwardness and into real connection? Well, it starts with a mindset and preparation. So step 1, the small talk mindset. A lot of people believe great conversationalists are just naturally quick-witted. But the truth is, great conversations isn't about being spontaneous, it's about being prepared. Think of it like a warm-up. Just like an athlete stretches before a game, you can prep your social muscles to make conversations flow. Step 2, the 10-second interaction hack. So if small talk feels unnatural, start small. 10-second interactions. Say, hey, how's your day? To a barista. Compliment a co-worker's shoes. Smile at a stranger. These micro interactions train your brain to be more social. And studies show even brief exchanges boost happiness and make deeper conversations easier. Step 3, a simple trick to boost your speaking confidence. Want to sound instantly more engaging? Try the read aloud exercise. So take a passage with a dialogue and read it out loud with exaggeration. Use silly voices and whisper, shout, laugh. It forces you to use expressive tones, clear diction, and controlled breathing. The key to sounding confident. An even simpler version, sing loudly in the car. Before heading to a social event, it wakes up your voice and makes you more naturally expressive. Step 4, your conversational cheat sheet. Ever get stuck with nothing to say? Or create a conversational resume. A go-to list of topics you can always pull from. Write down fun things you did this week, or a cool fact you read, a funny or weird experience, something you're excited about. Now, instead of struggling for conversation, you have preloaded talking points. And a bonus tip, if someone asks a question you don't want to answer, just redirect to a topic from your resume. Instead of just saying a job title, say, yeah, work's been busy, but I just started learning how to cook Japanese food. Have you ever tried making ramen from scratch? I wish I could make ramen from scratch. Step 5, the 4 stages of a great conversation. See, once you're warmed up, how do you turn small talk into something deeper? See, great conversations naturally follow 4 stages. Number 1, small talk. So keep it light, weather, setting, casual observations. Then you have 2, so fact sharing, so share simple details like work, hobbies, weekend plans, etc. Then number 3, opinions and views, so offer thoughts, preferences, and small personal stories. And then 4, emotions and personal feelings. So if the vibe is right, open up deeper. The key, match the other person's comfort level, but don't be afraid to take the lead in opening up. So to recap, change your mindset. Small talk is the bridge to deeper conversations. Then start small, 10-second interactions to build confidence. Then you want to use the read aloud exercise to sound more engaging. You want to build a conversational resume so you always have something to say. And then lastly, follow the 4 stages of conversations to go from strangers to real connections. And this is just the start. In the next chapter, we'll unlock the secrets of first impressions so you can make people instantly comfortable and interested in talking to you. So, chapter 2, first impressions. Ever met someone and just clicked? Or maybe the opposite. You met and the conversation felt off. Well, here's the wild part. Most first impressions happen before we even speak. We're constantly sending signals about what kind of conversation we want. So how do we control those signals and set up amazing conversations? Well, let's break it down. Step 1. First impressions start before you speak. The way you carry yourself tells people if you're open or closed off. So ask yourself, what signals are you sending? If you want to instantly put people at ease, the trick is simple. Act like you're already friends. That means relaxed body language, warm energy, and a natural smile. When you do this, people mirror your vibe and the conversation starts effortlessly. Then step 2, stop talking like it's a job interview. Ever notice how we talk differently to our friends versus new people? Well, when we're with friends, we're fun, unfiltered and natural. But with strangers, we suddenly go into professional mode. Here's the fix. Talk like you already know them. Instead of, so, what do you do? Try, tell me, do you actually like your job or are you just surviving like the rest of us? See the difference? See, one is boring. The other sets the tone for an engaging conversation. You want to use personality in your speech. So exaggerate slightly. Like, this music is so good I might cry. Use humor like, I love Mondays, said no one ever. Play with responses. So instead of good, say, I just had the best coffee of my life and I might never be the same. See, these little tweaks make you more fun to talk to and people will match your energy. Step 3, how to start conversations without it feeling awkward. See, most of us aren't avoiding conversations because we don't want to talk. We just don't know how to start talking. Here are 3 easy ways to start a conversation naturally. 1, ask for an opinion or recommendation. People love giving opinions. So try, what's the best thing on this menu? Or what's the last book that actually just blew your mind? Or I need a new show. What's something binge-worthy? This works because it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural. Then number 2, make a fun observation. So instead of asking, so what do you do? Try commenting on what's happening around you. For example, this might be the weirdest playlist I've ever heard. Thoughts? Or not saying that this is the best coffee in the city, but it might be top 3. Or that bartender definitely has stories. Think they've seen some things? Observations invite people into a shared experience, making the conversation effortless. Then the last point is find commonality. So one of the easiest ways to connect is by pointing out something you share. For example, wait, you're into hiking too? What's the best trail you've ever done? Or, oh, you work in marketing. Okay, tell me, what's the worst client request you've gotten? See, people are wired to respond to familiarity. It makes them instantly comfortable. And step 4, the friend energy. Trick for instant connection. All right, so you've started the conversation. Now, how do you keep it flowing? The answer? Well, act like you already know them. See, this doesn't mean pretending they're your best friend. It just means dropping the formal stranger energy and going straight into casual mode. When you do this, the other person mirrors your energy and suddenly the conversation feels effortless. So to recap on all of that, 1, change your signals. Act like you're already friends. Then you want to set the right tone. Stop talking like it's a job interview. Then use simple conversation starters. Make it feel natural. And then drop the stranger energy. Go straight into casual mode. And this is just the beginning. Next, we'll unlock how to be truly captivating in conversations. Chapter 3, how to be captivating. Have you ever met someone who just pulls you in? They're not the loudest or funniest, but you just want to keep listening. What's their secret? Well, good news, being captivating isn't something you're born with, it's something you can learn. And today I'm going to show you how. So step 1, master storytelling. Great conversations aren't built on random facts. They're built on great stories. People remember stories, not small talk. So here's the first tip, the mini story hack. You ever get asked a simple question and completely blank on how to answer? Well, that's because you haven't trained yourself to think in stories. See, a boring example would be, I work in marketing. Whereas a better example is, last week a client wanted a viral video. Let's just say their idea was the worst thing I've ever seen on the internet. See, mini stories are powerful because they are short, 3 to 4 sentences. They have a clear point, they make someone laugh and relate or get curious, and they invite follow-up questions so the conversation keeps going. When you train yourself to think in mini stories, you'll never run out of things to say. And here's the second tactic, the 1-1-1 method, the secret to engaging storytelling. So you don't need long dramatic stories to be engaging, you just need the 1-1-1 method. So one action, what happened, one emotion, how did it feel, and one summary, wrap it up fast. So a boring example would be, I went to a concert last week, it was fun, the band was good, the crowd was cool. Whereas better storytelling is, at a concert last week, the singer jumped off the stage into the crowd. The energy was insane, like best concert I've ever been to. Boom. Short, engaging, and makes people want to respond. Step 2, use inside stories to create instant connection. You ever notice how inside jokes make people feel closer? Well, inside jokes aren't just funny, they create shared experience. And you don't have to wait for them to happen naturally. You can manufacture them using inside stories. So let's say someone shares their worst date story. Late in the conversation, you can call back to that moment. For example, okay, but is this worse than your bad date story? See, now suddenly you have a shared connection, even though you just met. See, inside stories make conversations feel personable and memorable. So next time something funny, weird, or interesting comes up, bring it back later. It's an instant bond builder. Okay, step 3, make other people feel captivating. See, the best conversationalists don't talk the most, they make other people feel interesting. How? Well, they ask better questions. See, most people ask these boring surface level questions such as, oh, how was your trip? Do you like your job? How's your day? Instead, try these. What was the funniest thing that happened on your trip? Or what's the weirdest request you've ever gotten at work? Or what's been the highlight of your day so far? See, when you invite people to tell stories, they light up and suddenly they enjoy talking to you. So to recap on all that, use mini stories to keep conversations engaging. Create inside stories for instant connection and ask better questions to make others feel interesting. And here's the best part. These skills work everywhere. At parties, work, dates, anywhere you want to be more engaging. In the next chapter, we're going to go even deeper, learning how to keep conversations flowing effortlessly so they never feel awkward again. So, chapter 4, keep it flowing and smooth. Have you ever been in a conversation where things just die? You're talking, the other person is talking, and then bam, awkward silence. Well, here's a secret. Great conversationalists don't just talk, they keep the conversation moving. Today, I'll show you exactly how to make any conversation flow effortlessly without those dreaded awkward pauses. So, step 1, keep the conversation moving. The best conversations feel natural, like they have momentum. The key? Always keep things moving. Think of conversations like a train. If it stops, the energy dies. But if you keep shifting topics, adding humor, and going deeper, it stays engaging. So how do you do that? Well, you switch tracks. So step 2, expand the topic. You never have to run out of things to say if you know how to expand the topic. For example, shift to a related topic. So this reminds me of a time I got caught in a snowstorm, or go deeper. I love cold weather, it's peaceful. What's your favorite season? And add a personal story. I was in Canada when it hit minus 30 degrees, never been more miserable. Instead of hitting a dead end, you're giving the conversation new direction. Step 3, stop planning, start flowing. Overthinking kills conversations. Have you ever planned what to say next while the other person was still talking? Well, the problem is you're not actually listening. You're just waiting for your turn to talk. But you can fix this by reacting naturally. Someone says, I just got back from Italy. An overthinker is, what do I say? I've never been to Italy, awkward pause. Whereas a free thinker is, oh, nice. What was the best part? Or, oh, I love Italian food. Did you eat ridiculous amounts of pasta? See, next time, stop worrying about the perfect response. Just be present and the conversation will flow. Okay, so step 4, use the HPM rule for effortless responses. Ever hear a story and have no clue how to respond? Well, use the HPM rule. Whenever someone shares something, respond in one of 3 ways. So H, history, share a similar experience. P, philosophy, give your opinion, and M, metaphor, compare it to something else. So, for example, someone says, oh, I went skiing for the first time last weekend. H, a history example, would be, nice, oh, I tried skiing once, wiped out immediately. Or P, philosophy, would be, man, I love skiing. Something about the mountains is just so calming, you know? Or M, metaphor. Skiing is just ice skating with more ways to embarrass yourself. See, instead of saying, oh, cool, and ending the conversation, you've kept it flowing. Step 5, keep the energy up and avoid vibe killers. So you ever talk to someone who just kills the vibe? You know, for example, you just be like, oh, I just watched an incredible movie. And them, oh, I don't watch movies. Or you say, oh, I love hiking. It's such a great workout. And they go, oh, I hate exercising. Instead of shutting down energy, match excitement and build on the topic. For example, someone says, I love cooking. A good response would be, oh, nice. What's your go-to dish? An even better response would be, oh, I tried making sushi once. Let's just say I should not be trusted with raw fish. See, when you match someone's excitement, they feel good talking to you. And that makes them want to keep the conversation going. So to recap on all of that, let's break it down. Here's how to keep conversations flowing effortlessly. So you want to expand the topic, so give the conversation new direction. Then you want to stop planning your responses, so just react naturally. And then you want to use the HPM rule, so history, philosophy, or metaphor. And then you want to match the energy. Don't kill the vibe. When you start using these techniques, conversations stop feeling like work. They just flow. And in the next chapter, we're going even deeper, learning how to become more interesting, ask deeper questions, and make people genuinely love talking to you. Chapter 5, go deeper, be better. You ever talk to someone and instantly feel like they get you? Like the conversation isn't just small talk, it's real, meaningful, and different. Well, that's because some people know how to go deeper and build stronger connections faster. Today, I'll show you how to make conversations more interesting, more memorable, and more meaningful. So, step 1, give compliments that actually matter. So you want to make people instantly like talking to you? Well, give compliments. But not just compliments, meaningful ones. So an example would be a surface level thing like, oh, nice shirt. Whereas a meaningful one would be, that's a great shirt. Your style is just always on point. See, when you acknowledge something specific, a person's taste, mindset, or effort, they don't just feel complimented, they feel seen. So try this. Instead of you're funny, say, I love the way you tell stories. They're so entertaining. Or instead of, oh, you're smart, say, I love how you break things down. It just makes everything so clear. People won't just hear your words. They'll remember how you made them feel. Then step 2, actually listen instead of just waiting to talk. You ever talk to someone and feel like they're just waiting for their turn to speak? Well, most people do this, but the best conversationalists, they make others feel heard. And here's how. So micro responses. For example, yeah, oh, no way. Like really, keep the energy flowing. And then use the 2-second rule. Pause for 2 seconds before responding. And then repeat and expand. So you're saying, and then repeat their point. See, when you do this, people don't just talk to you, they feel understood. Okay, then step 3, ask questions that get better answers. Most people ask boring questions like, oh, how was your day? Predictable, one-word answer incoming. But the better one would be, oh, what's the funniest thing that happened today? Now they have to tell a story. Or a bad example would be, do you like your job? And they'll just say yes or no. Whereas, what's the weirdest request you've ever gotten at work? See, now you're getting to a real answer. Instead of asking for facts, ask for stories. It makes conversations way more interesting. Okay, then step 4, stop shutting people down. Ever had someone shut down your opinion instantly? For example, like, nah, that's wrong, or I totally disagree. It's a vibe killer, right? Well, instead of shutting people down, stay curious. For example, instead of that's wrong, say, oh mate, that's interesting. What makes you see it that way? Or instead of I disagree, say, well, that's a cool perspective. I've never thought about it like that. See, when you keep the conversation open, people feel safe to share more. That's where real depth comes in. And then step 5, live an interesting life. If you want to be interesting, you need to do things worth talking about. And that means more than just scrolling social media all day. For example, read a book, try a new hobby, say yes to something. When you actually engage with life, you'll naturally have better stories, better opinions, and better conversations. So, to recap on all of that, here's how to go deeper and be better in conversations. You want to give meaningful compliments, make people feel seen. Then you want to listen actively. Don't just wait for your turn. You want to ask better questions, get people to share stories. And then you want to stay open-minded, keep the conversation flowing. And lastly, live an interesting life so you always have something to talk about. When you start using these techniques, people won't just enjoy talking to you, they'll want to keep talking to you. And next, we're flipping the focus inward, learning how to build the kind of confidence that makes conversations feel effortless. Chapter 6, Looking Inwards. You ever meet someone who just radiates confidence? They don't try too hard or dominate the room, but somehow they make every conversation feel effortless. Well, here's the secret. Great conversations start with how you feel about yourself. If you don't feel engaging, confident, and curious on the inside, connecting with others will always feel like work. So today, we're flipping the focus inwards, learning how to build the mindset, confidence, and curiosity that makes conversations flow naturally. So step 1, be someone you'd want to talk to. If you met yourself at a party, would you actually be interesting to talk to? We spend so much time worrying about what to say, but rarely ask if we're bringing anything engaging to the table. If you want better conversations, become the kind of person you'd want to meet. And here's how. Do things worth talking about. Read, learn, try new things. Then you want to develop your own opinions. Think for yourself. And then lastly, be curious about life. The more you explore, the more engaging you become. Because you can't fake being interesting. You have to be interested in the world. And step 2, the confidence myth and why you don't need it. Most people think confidence is something you're born with, but it's not. It's a skill. And the best way to build it, expose yourself to more conversations. The more you talk to people, the more you realize no one is judging you as much as you think. Awkward moments pass in seconds, and the more you practice, the better you get. Stop waiting to feel confident before putting yourself out there. Confidence comes from action. So start small. Say hi to the cashier. Make small talk in line. Join a group conversation and add one thought. Over time, these tiny moments add up until talking to people feels effortless. Then step 3, stop seeing the world in black and white. You ever talk to someone who thinks they're always right? Someone who instantly shuts down new ideas? For example, no one likes talking to that person. Here's how to stay open-minded in conversations. Instead of judging, get curious. For example, what makes you think that? Instead of arguing, explore. That's interesting. How did you come to that conclusion? Or instead of shutting down, dig deeper. I never thought about it that way. Tell me more. See, when you do this, people feel safe opening up, and that's when conversations get really good. Okay, step 4, embrace your own weirdness. You ever notice how the most interesting people aren't normal? They have quirks, weird passions, strong opinions, and that's what makes them fun to talk to. But most people try to blend instead of embracing what makes them unique. The truth is, people are drawn to authenticity. So instead of trying to be likable, try being real. Next time you're in a conversation, don't hold back your weird interests, funny stories, or strong opinions. For example, instead of, I like movies, say, I have an obsession with 80s action films. Bad explosions just, hit differently. Or instead of, I have a dog, say, my dog is basically my tiny fluffy life coach. See, when you let your personality shine through, you attract the right people, the ones who love you for who you are. And step 5, be genuinely curious about people. The easiest way to be interesting is to be interested. Think about the last time someone asked you a real good question, one that made you think or reflect. See, that's the kind of question you should be asking. Here's how to develop real curiosity in conversations. One, you want to treat every person like they have something to teach you, because they do. And then you want to look for what makes them light up. Passions, stories, weird facts. You want to ask follow-up questions like, what was that like for you? What happened next? See, when you're truly curious, people feel it. And that's what makes conversations unforgettable. So to recap on all of that, let's break it down. Here's how to transform the way you approach conversations. 1, you want to be someone you'd want to talk to. Build a life that's actually interesting. Then you want to stop waiting for confidence. It comes from action. You want to stay open-minded, trade judgment for curiosity. You want to embrace weirdness. That's what makes you unique. And lastly, you want to be genuinely curious about others. People love feeling seen. And here's the best part. When you start applying this, conversations stop feeling like work. They become easy, natural, and fun. And that's exactly what we've been building throughout this series. So if you've made it this far, congrats. You're now armed with everything you need to be an amazing conversationalist. If this book summary helped you, like the video, subscribe, and comment below. What's one lesson from this book summary you're going to use in your next conversation? We'd love to hear it.